Fuck.
Are you sure?
I don't know, man. My heart's not great this week, but I'm kind of okay with it at the same time. So let's just do this.
No, it's back. Give it to the quarterback. No, we got the running back. What?
Straight off the couch.
Here are the stories we're going to be chasing today.
Well, we're going to be trying. It's not really chasing. We're going to be reviewing Week 16 and previewing Week 18. But before I get too far into this, let me bring in my partner, the ho-ho-ho-inest guy I know. It's Adam Weidel. Adam, how are you today, brother?
Oh, man, I don't know. I got some heart palpitations. I'll tell you what I do know. The league really just threw a screw in our gears this week and just gave us all the action.
That might be the best weekend of football in the last 10 years.
But I'm still high from Thursday night, and they kept throwing them at me.
Right. I mean, honestly, I was still in shock about the Sunday Bears thing until like noon today.
Yeah, I mean, even Sunday night's game, I guess they kind of let us down with the Monday nighter a bit, but we kind of somewhat expected that. But let's just talk about the game, shall we?
Yeah, let's just launch into it. The Thursday night game was Rams at Seahawks. This was for that division lead. Seahawks wind up taking this one 38-37, went down to the wire, and it looked like the Rams were going to win it most of the night.
Yeah, so the Rams are definitely a very strong, dominant football team. There's nothing wrong with the Rams. The Rams are having a fantastic season. They're getting the work done. They've got good defense. They've got great offense. Everything seems to work in the Rams' favor. Now, the Seahawks are no schlub either.
No.
But they've had a couple games where it's just like it seems like they couldn't get things going games.
Like a hiccup here and there, yeah.
Yeah, and even their last meeting with the Rams, they didn't seem like they were in the game. And then that one game where they kicked, 6 field goals, no touchdowns? Yeah, so like the Seahawks had kind of a question mark over them.
And I want to say that Seahawks 6 field goal game was against somebody like the Raiders or somebody that wasn't really a contender.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you just kind of question it. And then, this is the Rams won the first battle between them. This is the kind of the rematch because they're divisional opponents. We wanted to know what Seahawks team was coming in, and man, did we ever get the weirdest play I've ever seen.
Yes.
A failed 2-point conversion that was good.
Yes. I actually went and Google searched that rule because I was like, what? I thought if a pass was incomplete and hits the ground, it's a dead ball. But apparently on a backward pass, and a parallel pass is considered backward by league rules, it can hit the ground and still be a live ball. So all the Rams had to do was touch it at some point in time, dead ball, game over.
Yeah. Well, it would have been game over. They still would have had time on the clock.
But not, it was not much. It was, seconds.
So that made the game 30-30. We go into the extra frame, and there's a couple points that I want to get at this week. The announcers were calling it the extra quarter or the fifth quarter, and I heard that a bunch of times. And it's 10 minutes. It's not a quarter. It's a sixth.
You know what it is? It's free hockey.
Call it like an extra frame or overtime or something, but stop calling it an extra quarter because it's not a quarter.
Right? No, it's shorter than a regular quarter, and the rules are different.
It's a sixth. It's a sixth of an hour. Yeah. So everything else is 15 minutes. That makes it a quarter of an hour. Rams score first. They get the touchdown and the point after. And Seahawks said, okay, it's our turn. And they scored, and they made a 2-point conversion to win the game and end it.
Yeah. I think somebody was borrowing Dan Campbell's testicles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It had Dan Campbell written all over it. I mean, Seahawks are a legit contender. Rams are still a legit contender. We're going to see what happens in the playoffs. Both these teams have now are good for playoffs. They have locked a place. We don't know what place, but
Well,
they're both in.
we'll talk about playoff seeding in a little bit. Because they flexed a couple of games, my schedule is all screwed up. What in the early window caught your eyes?
Okay, so we had Saturday's games.
I was going to say we got Saturday games too, so let's get into the Saturday games. That's why my schedule.
Okay,
looks
so
wonky.
let me like scratch one right out for you right now. Eagles Commanders was not an interesting game.
Not at all.
We can blow by that. Packers
Eagles
at Bears.
Eagles walked away convincingly over the Commanders, 29-18.
Yeah. Packers Bears was the next one on the docket, and this is like 20 or 48 hours after the Rams Seahawks game, basically after they started.
Correct.
So, Packers looked like they had this one kind of wrapped up, and the Bears decided to do a little come from behind wizardry.
Caleb Williams' fourth quarter passer rating is it's the highest in the league's history in the fourth quarter. He's like Mr. Fourth Quarter. I wish he was Mr.
Yeah, you were texting me. You were texting me at one point, just kind of like doom and gloom, like, "Oh, I thought you were Bratchert for a minute," and you were just, oh man, they can't get anything going. We have no answer for the Packers, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, oh, there's still time. There's still time. And then
Bratchert was doing the same thing. Bratchert was fluffing me up because that's how we commiserate. We fluff each other up when we need it.
But yeah, the Bears come from behind, and probably the greatest OT walk-off touchdown pass I've ever seen.
So the Bears had 3 points with 3 quarters and 8 minutes under, off the clock. The game is down to the last 8 minutes or 7 minutes or whatever it is, and the Bears get a field goal. And you're like, oh, well, field goal, that's like kissing your sister.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And then they do the onside kick, and the onside kick recovery of Dobbs is going to be showed in every locker room in America for the next 2 years. This is what you don't do on an onside kick. You don't back up. You don't bobble the ball. You don't try and bend over, pick it up with your hands. You fall on it. You move forward and fall on it and make the play dead, and you get out with with everything intact.
We just watch it. We don't play. So
yeah. But I guarantee that's going to be in every film room in America for the next couple of years.
That was the catalyst. I think the energy was flowing at that point, and then they did the onside kick. The crowd was behind them, and then the onside kick was the catalyst. That was like the let's fucking go moment. And they did not turn it off.
And I thought after the Bears scored that touchdown, putting them down by 1, I thought that Ben Johnson would go for 2. He's going to pull out the Dan Campbell test.
I thought so too.
But I think he thought, we're at home, we've got momentum, let's go ahead and tie this up and go for extra time. And it paid off for him. And a couple of highlights, there was Jordan Love was knocked out early in the second quarter. Willis come in. Willis looked like he looked like a world beater. I mean, he was playing really, really well.
He looked really good for a backup quarterback. He looked better than Jordan Love.
Actually, I looked this up. His passer rating and his completion percentage in 2024 is higher than Jordan Love's.
Yeah, like he's better in Toyotathon than Jordan Love.
He might be the best backup in the league.
I mean, we still got Jameis.
And that brings us to our Sunday afternoon slate of games. By the way, the final for that was Bears 22, Packers 16. And like you said, that catch that DJ Moore made at the end to close out the game, and the defender who was draped all over his back and probably pass interfering him is the same guy who intercepted the pass to DJ Moore when they played Green Bay in Green Bay to close out the game. So this is kind of poetic justice all the way around. Now we can get to the early slate of games on Sunday. What stood out to you?
Okay, so there was a couple games that stood out to me, and there was a lot of snoozers, but it was Sunday early window, and we're getting close to the end of the season, so there's a lot of teams that are not in playoff contention. Buccaneers Panthers. This was a big one. It wasn't a great football game. It was sloppy.
It's going to be one of these two teams that takes the NFC South.
yeah, neither one of these teams can get a wild card. The only way they get in is winning the division.
Right.
So, so they're fighting for it. The Panthers end up taking this game 23-20. It was a close game, but it was a sloppy game, and they get to meet each other again in Tampa Bay in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, it's all going to depend on what happens this week with these two teams. If there's a momentum switch, if one wins, one loses, it's pretty much over. Or it could go either way. Like, we'll see.
And what was the other early game that got your attention?
Bills Browns, surprisingly.
Yes, I was watching that game live, and Shedeur Sanders is he's not the guy. I'm sorry, he's not the guy. But he did get some stuff pulled off and was able to run and use his legs and get more accomplished until he got hurt and they had to bring in.
I'm not worried about the Browns. I'm worried about Bills fans right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Bills fan, you really need to worry. And
Yes.
you can say, oh, Josh Allen's a playoff quarterback and this is a playoff team. You're absolutely not a playoff team at this point. Josh Allen is carrying that team on his back.
And you don't want to back into the playoffs, and you don't want to think, I'll hit the gas in the playoffs. You want to hit the gas in November and keep your foot on the accelerator all the way through the end of the game, or end of the season.
If you're struggling against the Browns, I'm sorry. You've got some work to do, and the playoff window, we'll get into what it's looking like right now, but you don't want any of these teams if you're a Buffalo Bill right now.
And Myles Garrett, 1 sack away from the record, couldn't get it done against the Bills.
Poor guy.
So the other thing I want to touch on real quick, the Titans just dog walking the Chiefs.
Yeah, so I mean the Chiefs are every quarterback that says Chiefs, it's like a voodoo curse, gets a torn ACL. All they have to do is dress in the uniform. So they're not having the greatest thing. They also rested 12 players and said that they were injured, but come on.
I think, like you said in our text, I think they're in Aruba playing golf and they don't want to be part of this anymore.
Yeah, I mean, nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday, right?
Right, and that brings us to our late window games. Jacksonville Jaguars, Broncos. That one was for positioning in the playoffs. Jaguars beat the Broncos pretty convincingly with the Broncos at home. That doesn't happen very often, and they were never really in the game.
I would love if you had the soundbite from last week's episode.
Well, you should have let me know. I could have pulled it up.
I did say that if the Jaguars get off to a fast lead, they are going to win this game, and I don't think the Broncos could come from behind against the Jags.
No.
And they would have to eat some humble pie, and that's exactly what happened. And I certainly wish that this was a primetime game because I would have actually got one.
Yeah. Well, and another game that had some playoff implications. Texans over the Raiders. Texans nobody is going to want to see these guys in the playoffs because their defense is just so smothering. And
apparently the Raiders wouldn't mind seeing them in the playoffs because the Raiders seem to handle them really well.
They did, and I wonder if that might have been the Texans overlooking the Raiders a little bit and being surprised. Who knows about that? And the other late window game, Steelers-Lions.
Another crazy ending.
Aaron Rodgers knocking the Lions down, possibly out of the playoffs, just like the Lions did to Aaron his last year in Green Bay.
Yeah, and that was another weird play that would have counted if Amon-Ra didn't
offensive pass interference. Yeah. And that I'm glad the officials got together. It took longer than I would have liked, but you could see they were working together as a team, as a group, and they were trying to get the right call. That official starting the explanation though with the ruling on the field was a touchdown is the bad way to start it because the place goes wild. They think they won.
Yeah.
He goes.
They can't hear nothing.
He goes. However, prior to the touchdown.
Yeah, I didn't like how he delivered it either.
No, you start off with prior to the touchdown, offensive pass interference, 0 time on the clock. We do not replay this down. Ball game over, Steelers. That's how you do that.
And then they interview Aaron Rodgers after the game on the field, which is hilarious to me. And he's just like, he was actually quite humble. He wasn't the arrogant Aaron Rodgers
he's so fucking smug, man. Even on the
I know, but he was just like, but he was actually quite graceful with the Lions. Like he said, like this stadium holds a lot of memories to me and stuff like that, because he played them twice a year, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah, for like 17
he'd go
years,
there
yeah.
every year. So, he was nice about that. And then he was just like, they were like, what are you thinking about the playoff picture? And he's like, oh, we can only take it one game at a time. And then he says, go Patriots. And I was like, get the fuck out of town, bro.
and then to add insult to injury for the Steelers barely squeaking that thing out with the Lions, they're going to lose DK Metcalf for the rest of the season because he did something incredibly stupid.
Yeah, he tried to take a fan out and I've watched this from a couple different phone angles and stuff as well, and all the guy did was call DK by his government name. yeah, which apparently is a big bozo no.
But yeah, Detroit might not have they might not be as rabid as the Raiders fans, but they'll get in your head. And they've had a lot of practice. I mean, going back to the Piston days with Michael Jordan, they'll get in somebody's head. That's what they do. So, yeah, you don't want to mess with the Lions fans too much.
They'll steal your hubcaps, man.
Yeah, they will. That brings us to our Sunday night game. It's Patriots at Ravens. Patriots had this one handled pretty much the entire game. Lamar Jackson goes out after being speared in the back on a running play, and he just never really came back. And Snoop came back and came in relief, and he did actually a pretty good job.
Yeah, Huntley's a pretty decent quarterback, and he's got similar stats to Lamar. So
he does, and he has a similar playing style. So they didn't have to adjust the play calling a whole lot. But in the fourth quarter, Henry scores a touchdown, and they didn't put him back in for the rest of the quarter. It was like 2 minutes into the fourth quarter, and then he sat the rest of the game.
It's because he fumbled.
Yeah, probably because he's had that problem all season.
Yeah,
so.
he fumbled, so they benched him. And, I think it was a stupid Harborough call on that one, because the Patriots didn't have an answer to Derrick Henry besides the fumble. And so they were just like, it's almost like they gave him the game when they took Henry out.
Yeah, they did.
Lamar was already out, so they lost one set of legs. Not that he was running much, but Henry... they didn't have an answer for him. He was getting chunks, and they benched him, and I think that just handed the Patriots the game. Now, one thing, I was having the heart attack, we are losing this game, especially when I see probably the most egregious pass interference I've ever seen in my life not get called. Stephon Diggs gets wrapped up around the legs before the ball even gets to him, and they're just like, that's just an incomplete pass.
That's just football.
Yeah, it's just an incomplete pass, and people were pissed, but good on the Patriots for being well disciplined and not losing their shit or anything, and they just went back to the line, and they were just and it's probably in their favor that they didn't catch that ball, or they didn't get the call there, because they allowed them to burn an extra couple of minutes off the clock and get another touchdown anyway.
Right. At that point in time, it became about clock management. And that brings us to our Monday night game. It was Niners at Colts. Colts were never really in this one. It was fun to watch Phillip Rivers dissecting the defense at the line, telling people where their coverages are and where their blocking schemes are.
Crazy.
It was great.
Crazy.
It was great. However, they had the kick return that was dropped and picked up by San Francisco, and they separated by 7 then, and the Colts never got back in the game.
Yeah, and every time they panned over to the box, there was more children in it.
Well, they had to annex his place across the street for the kids to watch the game, because he's got 137 of them.
The Rivers private suite, as the night went on, they kept panning to it to say, this is Phillips Rivers' family. Oh, by the way, every announcer was just sucking on Phillip Rivers' dick, and I don't think he needs any more of that.
Well, no, actually, he probably does.
He probably does need more of that.
Because otherwise it's going to be another kid coming around,
Yeah, so I looked every time they went to the box. It was there was 10 people in the box, and then the next time they panned to the box, there was 15 people in the box, and it was all more children and more children and more children. And I was just what the fuck is going on? Are they making them in the box?
What was it?
Are they cloning them?
Was it just me, or what Rivers kept playing with his helmet. I don't think his helmet was fitting right because he was like adjusting it the entire night.
And when he put it on the sidelines, he was like crunching his face to put it on, like it hurt him.
Well, he put on, he's got that middle-aged spread going on, and that, you put on some weight in your face. But yeah, he looked like he wasn't comfortable in the helmet at all.
But then when he took his helmet off, he had like a wicked like
indentation
imprint, on his forehead. So
well,
the Colts lose this game, so the Bills, the Chargers, and the Jags owe San Francisco like a gift basket or something.
Since we're there, go ahead and we'll talk about the playoff picture. You got the AFC. Go ahead, buddy.
All right. So AFC wise, we still got the Broncos at number 1. Patriots are currently sitting at number 2. Jags are sitting at number 3. Chargers at 5 and Bills at 6 currently. All those teams I just mentioned are locked in, and 3 of them got locked in last night because San Francisco beat the Colts.
Right.
In the hunt currently, we have Steelers at 4. They haven't clinched the playoff spot yet. And Texans at 7. They also have not clinched. The Colts are still on the bubble, believe it or not.
I think the Ravens are too, but they have to win out.
And the Ravens are too, but both these teams need to win out, and they need some help.
Yeah. Same thing with the Ravens. They need to win out, and they need help too. And
that is the AFC picture currently.
And the Ravens going to play the Packers this weekend, so that'll be a wild game. The NFC picture, boys and girls, is even muddier.
Yeah, it's dirty.
The number 1 seed, we got Seattle. They've locked a playoff berth. Chicago in the number 2 seed, they've locked a playoff berth. Philly in the number 3 seed has not only locked the playoff berth, they've locked their division. So Seattle has 10 wins, Chicago 11, Philly 10, and then we have a little precipitous fall to the 4th spot for the NFC South. Right now it's currently Carolina at 8 and 7, but Tampa Bay's right there at 7 and 8, so that could go back and forth either way. Now the 5th seed, also who's locked a playoff berth, San Francisco 49ers at 11 and 4, and tied with Los Angeles Rams, who have locked a playoff berth at 11 and 4. So the 6th spot right now is Green Bay at 9 and 5, and looking in are Detroit and Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so the thing with Tampa and our boy Baker is Tampa basically needs to win their next 2 games. The game in 2 weeks is against the Panthers. They have to beat the Panthers. Even if both teams lose, Panthers will lose their game and Tampa loses their game this week, they have to beat the Panthers in week 18.
Right, and the Lions, to get in, need Green Bay to lose this week and next week. And the Lions need to win this week against the Vikings and then closing out the season against the Bears. And
the playoff picture is pretty much wrapped up. We know who's going to be in. There's a couple little spots, and then it all depends on seeding. So this week, unfortunately, I was texting Terry, and I said, I know I picked the Colts to beat the 49ers because, I'm a gambler that way. But I also wanted them to win so that we had competitive football in the AFC this week, because I think you're going to see a lot of kind of backed off offenses and defenses because they know they're in the playoffs and seeding won't really matter that much for them.
Right. Or if they're completely out of it, they'll pull like a Kansas City did and send half their team to Aruba. Do I hear a car in the background?
I heard something.
Here he is, all the way from Milan, Italy. He flies in once a week just to do the show. It's Coach Blackwell to give us his take on football fashion this week. Hi, Coach. How are you, buddy?
Hi, boys. I'm super happy to be here this week.
I'm really happy to see you. There was a lot of good looks, and I was curious what your take on it was.
Okay, so let's look at things. Probably the thing that caught my eye the most was the Carolina Panthers came out in this nice little blackout number, but it had blue on it. I wish they'd just change their colors just for 1 week and throw a little purple in there, and then we could be like Wakanda forever, But I did like the look. And then Denver, they came out in orange on orange.
Yes, they did.
They had the regular, horsey helmet, but they had the double orange look, and I really liked it.
Yeah, with the blue helmet, that's a good look. Yeah.
It was a good look. And then the Colts, let's talk about horsies. The Colts had a black helmet on, and then they had full blue uniforms, which were a little different.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, it wasn't a solid blue. There was like some speckling in there or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like almost like a little gasoline wash, like it was like
Yeah.
acid wash denim or something. It was beautiful. I
Right
loved
out,
it.
right out of the '80s, man. Give me some Jordache jeans, some Givenchy. You know.
I think it's because their quarterback's so old. He was
Well, could be.
they were probably trying to just make him a little more comfortable. You know,
Well, it was either the uniforms or Cialis. So they went with the uniform. You know.
there you go. Nothing wrong with a little Cialis every once in a while.
Who else caught your eye, Coach?
Okay, so I saw a new one this week. New Orleans came out in all gold with black helmets.
That looked good. That was a really good look.
It depended on the camera angle because all the angles were a little different. And the cameras tend to have like a different resolution. Sometimes they just look like they were wearing tan. But the high definition cameras caught the gold and it looked really nice. And then Houston came out in their Daredevil outfits again. You know how I love them, Terry.
I know you like the Daredevil outfit.
I was just, you can hit me with a billy club anytime. But my fit of the week was the Seattle Seahawks came out in a new uniform. They came out in what they call the Nike Rivalries High Decibel, and it was a nice little number in like a wolf gray. But again, camera angles caught it from certain distances and resolutions, and it kind of looked like an off-white. It didn't look so gray in some spots.
It actually, I saw it and I thought of the Aragon Ducks and all of their wild variations. That's what it reminded me of.
And I just love the helmet. The
Yeah.
helmet had this like gasoline paint job, so it'd be like green 1 minute, and the guy would turn his head into the light, and it would go blue, and it was just so cool.
Yeah, that was a really good looking uniform. Any honorable mentions this week, Coach?
No real honorable mentions. A lot of people did the whole color rush thing, so they were wearing the same tops and bottoms, and there was a lot of white still, a lot of white on white.
So, do you have big holiday plans, buddy?
I'm just going to enjoy Christmas. There's some Christmas football coming up, and I'm hoping there's going to be some fancy uniforms. I kind of feel like we've seen them all at this point, but maybe they could come up with some different combinations. I'm hoping for Christmas, teams will do little swaps and stuff. So, like, the Raiders could wear, like, the Broncos pants and all sorts of different things,
Sure,
you know?
sure.
You know, it's just like, oh, let's change it right up. And just like, and if they swap pants on the field, that would just make me so happy.
If you're going to go into battle, clash. Absolutely. Well, Coach, you have a really nice Christmas. We hope to see you next week. Toodles.
Merry Christmas, boys. I hope you all get the nice ho-ho-hos.
And there he goes into the sunset. Now that brings us to this week's slate of games. We have 3 on Thursday.
Bro, we have a lot of games to pick this week.
I know, but honestly, they don't. None of them have any. They don't look like they're going to be good games to me.
I know, but we said we'd pick them, right?
So we're going to pick them.
So we're going to pick them, but it's just like, yeah, I'm looking at that Thursday early and late window, and I'm just like, really?
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
This is supposed to be the gift the NFL gives us on Christmas.
You're letting me down. You're letting me down. Thursday night or Thursday morning, first game of the day. Cowboys at Commanders. Who you got? I'm going Cowboys.
I'll take Commanders then.
Okay. The second game of the day, Lions at Vikings. Vikings are going to be without J.J. McCarthy. I'm going to go Lions.
So this is a tough one for me because we've talked about this. Vikings play super spoiler this
They
time
do.
of year,
They
but the
enjoy playing
Lions have
spoiler.
something to lose, but they are in Minnesota, eh?
Yeah, hey.
So I'm going to take the Vikings.
All right. And
I'd like to see the Lions win just to make Week 18 more interesting.
you know what? And with all due respect to my friend Chris Bratcher, who I love, if the Lions lose, I'm not going to be terribly upset.
I just think the Vikings play super spoiler
They
really
do.
well.
They do like to do that. And that brings us out to our Thursday night game, the Christmas night game. This is not a gift that the NFL is giving us. It's Broncos at Chiefs, and the Chiefs have pretty much checked out for the season. So
This whole day is fucked to me. Like none of these games are super interesting. The only team that has like something on the line is the Lions.
Right. Yeah. So this one I'm going to go Broncos just because they're at this point in time they're a vastly superior team.
I want to say Broncos here just because, but they're divisional, and I think the Chiefs want to play spoilers. But who are they going to play?
No, they're down to their third string quarterback, and I think they were. I think they were in Starbucks looking for receivers.
I'm gonna go Broncos, but I'm gonna like really kick myself if the Chiefs like play spoiler on this one.
And here we go to the Saturday games. There's two Saturday games. Saturday afternoon game, Texans at Chargers. This one has playoff implications for seeding for the Chargers and Texans in or out type of stuff. I'm going to go Texans.
You're going to take the Texans, eh? This is going to be a super interesting game. Both these teams have something on the line. I will take the Chargers.
That brings us to our Saturday night game. It's Ravens at Packers. Ravens, you know what? This is an emotional pick. I admit it. It's not something I'm thinking about with my brain. Ravens. I want the Ravens to beat the Packers, and because the Bears' magic number is 1.
I actually want the Ravens to beat the Packers, but I think the Pack takes this.
Yeah, I do too. But my emotional thing, I'm going to go with my emotions on this one for a change. I'm going to go Ravens.
Okay.
Anything in the Sunday early window catching your attention?
I think all the games get played in prime time this week. Holy shit!
Well, no, the games we're looking at in the noon window, there's really nothing that.
No. So Seattle, Carolina is important.
Yeah.
Seattle wants to hang on to that number 1 seed, and Carolina has something to play for because if the Bucs win,
Carolina wants to keep pace with the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers are playing the Dolphins. So
so that's an interesting one. Pittsburgh, Cleveland is a divisional game. If the Ravens do beat the Pack on Saturday,
the Steelers need to win. Yeah,
the Steelers have to win.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Indy is a big game because they're the same division, and Indy is still on the bubble. But I don't think we got Old Man Rivers at this point. I think they're putting in the kid.
It's not just Old Man Rivers. The Colts offensive line has been decimated with injury. Their defense has been decimated with injury. The Jaguars are hitting on all cylinders. That's Jaguars to me.
Yeah. Tampa Bay, Miami. That's a super interesting game. This is like a down the road game. Like they're nobody's leaving very far, right?
No.
But they're different conferences. Miami is starting to play football, even though they're mathematically eliminated. So I don't know. Everybody's playing for a contract at this point.
I think McDaniel's playing to keep his job. Yeah.
Yeah. Tampa Bay is on the bubble. Like they have to win. So that's going to be something to watch.
And as much as we love Baker, he hasn't been consistent for the last few weeks. So.
New England goes into the New York Jets territory. This is a divisional matchup. I can see the Jets trying to play spoilers, but they have Aaron Glenn as who's like a defensive coach, and this team has not got an interception this year. So
no, it's down to for the first pick in the draft this year. It's down to the Jets, Giants, and Raiders.
and that's it for the early window. Late window has fuck all in it. It's got 2 games. We have the basement competition. Who can get the first draft pick with the Giants and Raiders?
And I wonder who's going to throw the game the most creatively.
Oh, well, maybe we'll see. There's only 2 games to watch in that window, so you know.
And the other one is Eagles at Bills. This is important. This is important, more important to the Bills than the Eagles. The Eagles are locked.
Yeah, but the Eagles can still play well and get a seed.
Right. It's all about seeding right now for the Eagles, and like I said a little while ago, you don't want to limp into the playoffs. You want to hit the playoffs hitting your best stride. So that'll be a good game.
A 12-5 team could easily be the number 2 seed.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be interesting to watch. That brings us to our Sunday night game, Bears at Niners. I watched that game last night. The Niners punter hasn't punted since the early November.
He didn't know what to do. He was on the sidelines just dropping the ball. Just like, I'm gonna
practicing his drops. Yeah.
I'm just gonna practice my drops here. I'm gonna like loosen up my arms. I don't know if my leg works anymore, but I know my arms do.
This one scares me a little bit. However, the Niners are susceptible to the run. The Bears have the number one run offense in the league. The Niners on offense haven't really faced. If you can get to Purdy, you're better off. But the Bears secondary has been one of the best secondaries in the division in the league this year. So this is kind of strength on that for that. So I'm gonna go Bears anyway because their magic number is 1. They could very well go into this game and everything's over with, but I doubt it.
Niners for me.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but like you.
No, you have to apologize.
I just listened to what you say, and they're just like Niners do not have a run defense. Well, they somehow put up a lot of points last night, and Jonathan Taylor was, the back.
Well, but remember what I said. The Colts have a lot of injuries on their offensive line.
True.
True
enough.
They're down to their backup center, and that's never a good thing.
That's a game I'm interested in watching anyway.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that brings us to our last game of the week. Monday night, 7:15 start for me, 8:15 for Adam. Los Angeles Rams at Falcons. Falcons they can play spoiler, but the Rams are a really good football team, and they're gonna want to keep pace with Seattle and possibly leapfrog them back into the number 1 seed. So I'm thinking the Rams.
I'm taking Rams here. It's stupid not to after I just talked them up at the beginning of the show saying that they're a complete team and they really haven't had any falters. They've had some unlucky things happen, but every game they've played, they've either dominated or it's been super close.
So that brings us to the most talked about section of the show. It's straight into your stomach. I didn't make anything. I did frozen pizza.
Yeah, but you gave us a little tutorial on frozen pizza.
I gave my opinion on what's good and what isn't. Yeah. And I saw you did something that looked really good.
Oh yes. So I'm not going to take the credit here. The wife made those because I was actually busy in the kitchen making a whole bunch of food for the next week here. Just getting all and chopping meats down. We got like some sick deals on beef, Terry. Beef.
It's what's for dinner.
$3.99 a pound for eye of the round. And so I chopped that down into 9 steaks and some shaved faux meat and a whole bunch of things. But yeah, I was chopping away. She made the chicken sliders. I also had a bone broth on the go and a bunch of other things happening and a disastrous kitchen that I was cleaning on the way. And so she handled the bacon, chicken,
sliders.
Buffalo Ranch sliders. Yeah, they were. I put a picture up in the comments for everybody that wanted to know.
And that brings us to one thing. We're kind of pressed on time a little bit here, but there's something that Adam and I wanted to cover. With the upcoming Christmas holiday in 2 days, we wanted to take a minute and recognize people that actively like, comment, share on the show, and point them out, especially when we say Merry Christmas to everybody. But Damon Denoyer, my good friend, he likes a lot of stuff. He listens to a lot of stuff. When I had a beer with him the other day, he was like telling me about stuff. There's Joe, who has shared a lot of our shows, and I was with Joe and Damon Saturday, and Joe was, he shares a lot of our links, and he says these guys are cool. Go listen. So thank you, Joe. Of course, I got to thank Bratcher.
Yep.
We talk about Bratcher so much, I got to thank him. Deb, who has been really, really involved in the food stuff. Thank you, Deb. Christine, she talks to us about, and I told her she's got to get you that pretzel recipe. She just hasn't moved on yet. Derek Yarno, who I used to work with, but he's been sharing and talking about it. So thank you, Derek. Randy, Teresa, and Steve, I believe they're your personal friends, right?
They're my people.
Yeah,
yep. Those are my people.
And I know
they support us. Thank you.
And I know the relationship didn't end really well, but my friend Mike, he's been saying a lot of stuff, so I want to say something nice about Mike, and of course,
thanks, Mike,
and of course my girl Pammy. But I think that's going to be.
That'll be it. You can reach me at Adam Off the Couch on Instagram and the X. Go ahead, Terry.
You can find me on the X at TREMUP. That's at TREMUP, and on Instagram at Tear'emUpTerry. For my broadcast partner, don't Leave things unsaid. Check on those you love. Everybody have a really nice Christmas. Until next week, we'll see you later.
Merry Christmas, y'all.